70 मिनट है तुम्हारे पास, उसके बाद हैप्पी आवर्स खत्म. लेट्स पार्टी.
When you pay your credit card bills on Cred, you earn Cred coins. Use them to claim cashback and rewards. I know this sounds ridiculous.
Well, you must have seen these ads somewhere. And you might be thinking why these ads are everywhere. We will talk about all of this, but first, let's try to understand why there is so much hype about this startup and how this unicorn startup is able to spend millions of dollars on marketing despite of being in huge losses. After selling freecharge for $400 million, Kunal Shah, who's the founder of Cred, started traveling. And he observed that people in foreign countries have a system of rewards for doing good work. And that's where the idea came. And he started building something around the rewarding idea and named it Cred. Cred is nothing but a community of a high trust people. Kunal Shah, who's the founder of Cred, believes that economic prosperity will be higher in any society that exhibits higher level of trust. Now let me explain to you what does it mean. Let's take an example of my rented office. To rent this office, I had to pay 3 months of deposit. But why did it happen? Why didn't he just rent me the office and ask for 1 month rent? This happened because the owner of the office has low trust in me. He feels, what if I don't pay the rent? What if I leave the office without informing, or without paying electricity bills, or with some damages? So he's taking the deposit to reduce the risk of his losses. Now consider another situation where there is a community of people who have trust in each other. They have proved that they can be trusted. Let's say I have a certificate that says anyone can trust me when it comes to money. If there would be such a thing, the office owner could have rented his office without taking any deposits. Now let's go back to what Kunal Shah is doing. He's trying to build that certificate for you by building a community of high trust people. Now you must be thinking, where could we find such people? Kunal Shah started to focus on people who pays their credit card bills on time, and he started rewarding those people just because they pay credit bills on time. Although the idea behind Cred is incredible and game-changing, but it might come as a surprise that the startup is still in huge losses. Well, if we are talking about its losses, let me tell you that Cred has been in losses since its inception. In fiscal year 2019, Cred generated a revenue of 3 CR and bore a loss of 61 crore rupees. Following the losses, in 2020, it generated a total income of 18 CR and losses jumped to 361 crore rupees, which technically means that Cred spent 747 rupees to earn 1 rupee.
ये सब क्या देखना पड़ रहा है?
In 2021, it generated a total income of 96 CR and a huge loss of 524 crore rupees. And the funny part is that this startup recently raised $140 million despite being in huge losses. And just to let you know, the valuation of this startup took a high jump of 60% and reached $6.4 billion. Now you must be thinking why people are investing in loss-making startup. Well, the answer lies in the idea that built Cred and the man behind it. Kunal Shah believes that people should be rewarded for good behavior. He said, if you look at history, people in India have not been rewarded for doing good.
बहुत तकलीफ होती है जब आप योग्य हो और लोग आपकी योग्यता ना पहचाने.
And I want to focus on them. As of now, this unicorn startup has acquired 22% of the credit card payments in India. Now the question is, how did they do it? Number one, reward system and exclusivity. If you look at human behavior, it is designed in such a way that you repeat an action if you are incentivized for the same. Cred started giving rewards in form of Cred coins to all the people paying credit card bills on time, and those coins can be used for buying vouchers of multiple brands. This is where the early users jumped in. Another important aspect of user acquisition is that Cred made a rule that you can only join Cred if you have a credit score of 750 or more. Okay, fine, but how does it make you exclusive? Let's try to understand with an example. You must have seen people bragging about being IITians. And why do people do that? The simple answer is that they are proud of being a part of a community that is doing very well in terms of education. Similarly, if you're using Cred and paying your credit card bills on time, it automatically makes you part of the community that pays their bill on time. Now you have the feeling that you belong to a community that has better financial behavior, and this is is what makes you exclusive. And if you observe closely, we all want to be exclusive in some or the other way. Number 2, nostalgic and relatable ads. Kunal Shah very smartly figured out who its target audience is. And if you observe the Indian credit card users, you will find that most of them are 90s kids. So he collaborated with his friend Tanmay Bhatt and created some iconic ads around 90s shows and made sure that people would relate to it. The ads were so familiar and relatable that it made everyone curious about Cred. Cred has the data of top 1% of the Indians whose financial behavior is more than good, and now he can sell them whatever he wants. Cred is currently focusing on distribution and attracting new customers. It eventually plans to sell financial goods such as insurance, investment instruments, loans, and some products via its e-commerce platform. After looking at the services, it looks like a fintech company, but Cred's founder Kunal Shah said in an interview that this is a lifestyle company, not a fintech one. What do you think about this? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you look at the whole case study, what are the lessons that you could learn from it? Number 1, if you can bring irreversible change in people's behavior, you can build something big. This is not just in the case of Cred. That Cred changed people's behavior by providing incentives. Most of the startups do the same. Look at Zomato, Uber, Ola. They all incentivized people to change their behavior. Now you order food online. You don't go to a taxi stand for booking a cab. You just book it online. Lesson number 2. People will invest in you with open arms if you have done something good in the past. Kunal Shah was able to raise funds before even the launch of Cred because he had built freecharge earlier. Lesson number 3. You can build a tech startup even if you're not an engineer. Kunal Shah completed his graduation in sociology, dropped his MBA, and still built 2 tech companies. What else did you learn from this case study? Do let us know and share this video with your friends. And if you want more case studies, do suggest some startups to cover. Till then, stay safe and keep thriving.